Should have seen this earlier. It's from our buddy Slates.
Okay.
Anthony Slater.
Oh, Anthony, not Austin.
Yeah, no, not
okay.
Austin. Austin had surgery. He's home. He's recovering nicely. Anthony Slater.
Slates.
Before I read this to you, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Do you think Draymond Green's going to be healthy on October 24th?
Healthy as in...
Ready to play?
Yes.
Cleared to play.
I do.
Okay.
That's 11 days from now.
Mm-hmm. Anthony Slater.
Okay. There's a lot of buildup here.
Chris Paul only played with the Warriors starters in the preseason opener. Steve Kerr said they've had him scrimmage some with the second unit in practice. They would like to mix and match him into that unit during the preseason, though it may not come tonight. Your thoughts?
He's trying to make sure that Chris Paul is ready to play with the second unit because he will play with the second unit as well as playing with the first unit. And this whole thing is fascinating to me because you're going to start an NBA game, and whoever those 5 individuals are, they're going to play together for about 5 to 7 minutes.
5 to 7, yeah.
And then somebody is coming out of the game. And that person who comes in is going to be a player who comes in off the bench, and that will be a member of the second unit.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Golden State Warriors.
Well, yeah,
right,
for sure. It might be Kevon. It might be CP3 coming in off the bench. It might be Draymond. It might be Kuminga. Who knows? It might be Dario Saric or Rudy Gay or that other guy that Draymond hates who may not make the team.
Oh, Magruder.
Thank you, Magruder. The crime dog. Tough on crime.
Rodney Magruder.
Yeah, so at some point, you're going to have 3 or 4 guys off of the bench at the same time, and that will be the second unit. So you want Chris Paul to be comfortable playing with them, playing with the starters, everybody comfortable playing with everybody. So I don't really read too much into that at all.
I do.
You think that he's going to be coming off the bench?
I think if everybody's healthy, he's coming off the bench.
Okay.
And I get the larger point that you're trying to make, and I agree with it 100%.
Yeah.
Like, actually, can I take a moment to do this about 2 different topics?
Where are you seeing this, by the way? Is this a tweet?
Yes.
Because I'm looking at The Athletic
No.
for more of an in-depth look at what you're talking about.
At Anthony V. Slater 5 hours ago.
Okay.
So let me say this real quick and just get it off my chest a little bit for a couple different things here, okay? Couple different things. Does it super duper duper matter who starts?
To me? To the team?
To anyone?
Yes.
Oh, to who?
Chris Paul.
Okay, no. I don't mean like to any individual. I mean in the greater sense of the topic.
No,
Does it super uber duper matter?
No.
Okay, the answer is no. All right, next question.
Okay.
Does it super duper uber matter what people want to use to label Brock Purdy?
No.
Is he elite?
No, it doesn't matter.
Is he kind of elite? Is he good? Is he a product?
It matters to us because we have 16 hours of show to fill.
16 hours.
I mean, the Monday show is 4 hours of what'd you think? How was it?
Yeah.
888-957-9570. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, it kind of dissipates. And then you start thinking about, well, geez, we can't do 4 hours of, boy, they're really good.
Well, but I don't even love it when you say it that way because it makes it sound like it only matters to us because we've got time to fill on a radio show. That's not going to be a problem for us. We've been doing this for a billion years.
Yes.
It
matters to us as a collective Niner fan base and an NFL community.
There you go.
Because we as a as a people, we need to contextualize everything, okay? Niners are 5-0. They're in first place. They're undefeated. They're a good team. What does it mean, though? And why are they 5-0? Is it because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and we start to go through all the reasons?
Yes, and yes.
Well, and one of those things is it's because of Kyle, the players around Brock, Trent Williams, the schedule, this and that. And, oh, yeah, Brock is pretty good, too. Pat you on the head, tap, tap, tap. And that's what some people want to do in terms of context.
I guess, of course. My larger point is that you'll hear from a lot of people, and we've arrived at this moment, especially with Brock Purdy, and we arrived at that moment with Chris Paul, I feel like maybe 2 weeks ago, when people sort of started to get a little bit tired of it, and they went, guys, why does it matter? Why are we talking about this so much? Okay, I am a big believer that, for instance, ratings on television shows, right? People will say, why do they put this crap on the air? And my answer is the same every time. Because you watch it. The data goes in one direction, not the other. We don't guess. We're not sitting here going, gee, I wonder what everybody cares about. It's our job to know what you care about. It's our job to know what you would like to talk about, what you react to, what gives us engagement. We have 1,000 different indicators in front of us at any moment to tell how much engagement we've got, how interested you may or may not be. None of them are foolproof, but collectively, they all come together to mean something.
Yeah.
So if you are one of those listeners that's going, why are we still talking about labels of Brock Purdy? The answer is because you want us to.
You need us to.
That's the answer. Whether you like the answer or not, that is the truth. And I said it yesterday. Why is there somebody, and we should make a damn open for this and have it be a daily segment. Who wants to be the Brock Purdy idiot of the day? Because I promise you that some media member is going to take the bait every time. Shannon Sharps is the most recent. And I don't mean to call other people idiots. They're not. In many ways, they're being smart, because ripping Brock Purdy, even though you think it's not ripping Brock Purdy, or you're saying it's not ripping Brock Purdy, it is ripping Brock Purdy, and ripping Purdy is good for business. Shannon Sharp is getting engagement up the wazoo today. Steven Ruiz got it last week. And who was our guy yesterday?
The 33rd team.
The 33rd team.com. Ripping Purdy is good for business because there's emotion there. Now, same thing here with Chris Paul and starting. Of course, I've heard all the people go, God, why are we obsessing about this? I don't know. Why does Kardashian's butt get you so excited?
Oh, I'll tell you why.
It just does.
You talk about engagement.
Like it just does. So whether or not Chris Paul starts, does it matter in terms of the outcome of the game against the Suns? No. Is he going to start some games? Sure. Is he going to not start some games? Yes. But it has clearly struck a chord with Bay Area sports fans. So I find it incredibly interesting, and it was made more interesting by you-know-who, Chris Paul, because when he was first asked about it, he snapped. And that means
he didn't snap. That's an overstatement.
Okay, he snapped back. It was a little bit of a snippy, snappy answer.
It was a rebuke
a
question. It was a wonderful answer to a question that didn't need to be asked.
I disagree with the last part.
Sure.
I agree with the first part. It was not that it was a bad answer. It's just we're just sitting here reading people.
He just flicked it away
with emotion.
With a two-word response.
With emotion. And emotion.
Sneer.
And emotion that's what we do.
Yeah.
We are in the emotion business. That is what entertainment is. That is what.
Yeah. And the fact that he showed that he was annoyed is what definitely fueled this.
That's an emotion.
From then on,
so,
absolutely.
That's why I've said a bunch of times, if you want to know why that became a subject, ask Chris. He's the one who made it a bigger subject than it was.
Yeah.
And the second he came to media day and went, I don't care who starts. Oh, lo and behold, what happened?
Well, and now you see
Air
the
was out of the
reports
balloon.
of him flying up at 6 a.m. on the day that Steph Curry was going to be in town to work out so that he could work out with Steph Curry. So the positive spin machine around Chris Paul from the Golden State Warriors and Chris Paul himself. And, the reports are that Chris Paul got the internal email about the trip to Alcatraz, the annual trip where they go there and they take on the inmate basketball team. And Chris has already signed up and volunteered to be a part of it. So he's ingratiating himself and he's doing everything he can to inject himself into the fabric of the team and the organization. And, there might be a time this year where he has to come off the bench. And that's going to be a story if he ever does play in a game where he doesn't start, because he's never done that before.
I read into it because it feels to me like as we get close to opening night, the Warriors are preparing to play like they're going to play. And if Draymond Green was going to miss the first 2 weeks of the season, I don't think that, A, Steve Kerr spends that much time mixing Chris Paul into the second unit in practices, and B, Anthony Slater doesn't tweet about it. There's a reason that was tweetable. He went to his computer or his phone, and he said that for a reason. There's another preseason game coming tonight.
Yep.
And
7 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game.
And Slater's point is, Chris Paul, you may see him start, but in practice, that's not really what they're doing. And there's a reason for that, in my opinion. So if you want to call that reading into it, go right ahead. I'm comfortable with that.
Well, and they're also priming the audience for what's going to be happening and whether or not it's when Draymond is healthy, or if it's 10 games in and they realize that the best thing for this team is for Chris Paul to come off the bench. It's going to happen at some point. Whether or not it happens in the opener or when Draymond comes back healthy or not, I think you're going to get to a point where Chris Paul starts the game on the bench, and they're just preparing everybody with tweets like that and with messages that, look, Chris Paul's a great player, but we do want him to elevate and unlock Jonathan Kuminga.